Hi, I'm Soleil Dakota. Welcome to Musical Medicine. Narada Michael Walden is here tonight, everybody. Narada is a Grammy and Emmy Award winning multi-platinum producer. We'll close with a performance by acclaimed musician Jon Batiste playing his signature melodica. This is part one of our two-part interview. Narada Michael Walden is here tonight, everybody. Yeah!
Nice.
Narada will be sharing his great spirit with us and offering a personal look into his truly illustrious career, which has spanned more than 4 decades and still going strong. Narada was an integral part of introducing both Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey to millions of fans worldwide, producing and writing their breakthrough hits that first brought these divas to the spotlight. Narada produced hits for artists as diverse as Aretha Franklin, Steve Winwood, Ray Charles, Wynonna Judd, George Michael, Barbra Streisand, Lionel Ritchie, Lisa Fischer, Stevie Wonder, Tom Jones, Jeff Beck, The Temptations, and many more. Narada has earned equal acclaim as a recording and performance artist in his own right. At 19 years of age, he became the drummer with the pioneering group Mahavishnu Orchestra. Narada also toured internationally with Jeff Beck, Tommy Bolin, Weather Report, and also with his own band, the Narada Michael Walden Band. Narada is an Emmy and multi-Grammy award-winning producer and songwriter. Billboard magazine honored him as one of the top 10 producers of all time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Quite something.
That's really something.
Yeah. Soleil, stop, I can't take it.
Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about me now.
Go ahead.
By grace, I was privileged to co-write a number of songs with Narada in the 90s. One of these songs, Only Love Can Conquer All, I co-wrote with Narada and Preston Glass. This song was recorded by Diana Ross, and she performed it for Nelson Mandela in South Africa.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. Narada, I'm delighted to have you here. Welcome to the
hey.
show. Yeah, thank you. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, happy to see you.
Yeah.
Happy to see you.
Thank you. You know, before we talk about the major accomplishments of your career, your life's work, I just wanted to ask you some questions about how this all started for you, the beginnings, and as a child, like what music you first listened to and when the drums beckoned you.
Wow, okay. Well, let me say
Yeah.
that's the question. I come from Kalamazoo, Michigan.
That's
I'm born in
right.
1952.
Yeah.
So at that time, music is very rich with every kind of sound. Especially in Michigan, I can say we hear everything. So I'm very happy. I come from a family that was very music friendly, and the house was always music, from jazz
Really?
to pop and anything that was hot. Johnny Mathis, everything. Patty
Right.
Page, So I'm very happy that music has always been around me. So as far as playing drums, I remember being very small, playing on tables and pie tins and boxes. Be 4 and 5 years old, and then I also love to watch records spin. I get hypnotized watching records spin and just studying the sound over and over again. So I've always been drawn to music. It's just kind of like obsessed with music.
Well, that's so interesting because when you said you were listening like over
Yeah,
and over,
yeah.
well, that was the producer in you, right?
Yeah,
Being
studying.
developed. My goodness.
Always studying. And then my family on my mom's side, they played music. So my mom played a little piano. Her sister Mary, we call her the queen of rock and roll, loved all rock and roll, Ray Charles, Elvis Presley, anything rock and Fats Domino. Then come the twins, Vicky and Valerie. They had more sophisticated jazz ears. And then they could play like flute, like Herbie Mann, or they
my
could play,
goodness, I
along my
didn't know
ear,
that.
these things. So and then Uncle Trav, my mom's youngest brother, would be my uncle, 5 years older than me. He played
Yeah.
piano, so I would play drums with him. So it'd be always music.
Wow.
So that's a big thing when you're young, to
Yeah.
be playing and be around music.
Oh my goodness.
It's
what
critical, I think.
fertile ground.
It's critical, I think, yeah. And my dad, who'd be 18 when he had me, wanted to be a drummer. But he was a drummer, but he carried his friends' drums for him, so he's used to being around the whole scene. So he'd bring me albums of like Max Roach or Buddy Rich or whoever those great giants were, just so I could hear the sound when I was like 4 and 5 years old. Wow. So it's kind of like meant to be.
Yeah.
And for Christmas, my father and mother would give me toy drums. They would say Toyland. And they were made of paper heads. You know, sparkle drums, you know, like a little, whatever little symbol, but the heads were made of paper, so they couldn't last very long. Maybe like 20 minutes or 15 minutes. Just playing hard. You know? And it'd be like orgasmic to break the heads, and they would applaud, and then that was it. So,
oh my goodness.
I just always associate, you know, a good time with music and playing a drum and applause. You know, I'm raised that way. So
that's right.
I'm very happy with being, you know, chosen by my mom, my dad, my family, to be born into that world that gave me that education early. Yeah.
So I was going to ask you if you like played in bands or with kids, but you were playing with your family.
Family, but also no. I mean, I've always had bands. Like my first band, I was maybe like 11, and the organ player was Joel Brooks. He was 10. He played great organ, phenomenal organ. And so we had a band called the Ambassadors. His uncle owned the Ambassador Lounge in Kalamazoo, on the north side of Kalamazoo, and that was the hot little ghetto nightclub. Where, you know, Jimmy Smith would come through there. You know, Jack McDuff, the bad boys would come through there and play. So we could go in as the little opening act and play, and then they get us out. But we could open up and see what was going on and see and hear. So it was a great education. And then like we had little TV shows like Feminine Fancies. We'd go on those shows in Kalamazoo. So we had a great, you know, exposures playing around. Yeah. And then after that, then I did my own bands with them. Oh God, I had a band called Distance in the Far, where I played keyboards, my own left-hand bass, and then organ and I would sing. Then I had another band called Mother Thump and the Flunkies, where I played my own bass, and we did like, you know, Grand Funk Railroad and Crosby, Stills and Nash and all that kind of sound. And that was in my high school. And then I joined a horn band with Bob Knapp called Avatar. And I was going just toward college. And that they did Chicago and all that kind of big band sound, Tower Power, all that sound. So I've always been around, you know, expressions of music.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense to me, like how accomplished you are. I didn't, even for as long as I've known you, I didn't know that your upbringing was so intensely musical.
Yeah. And then when I left home at around 16 years old, I wanted to make my own solo album called Stay. I was very inspired by the sound of Laura Nyro, by the sound of, you know, I love some of Joni Mitchell and James Taylor, the kind of more, you know, very soft, pretty music, but especially Laura Nyro was so soulful that she caught my attention early on. And I wanted to go to my piano and just write those type of things, you know, that would just kind of be crying and longing. Because then, you know, I would go through sadness in my life, so to long on the piano would be like release for me. So, and I learned that trick early on, to kind of put your passion, your emotion to the piano, and out would come songs. So, yeah.
And then at 19 years of age, you joined the pioneering group. You were the drummer for Mahavishnu Orchestra. What was that like for you?
Well, technically speaking, I mean, I met Mahavishnu around that time. I didn't technically join the band until about 20 and then just turning 21.
Oh, okay.
Because it took a while then when I first met Mahavishnu, because I was so taken when I met him live in, I want to say, Hartford, Connecticut. He was playing the second album of Mahavishnu Orchestra called Birds of Fire with Billy Cobham on the drums, and they were just going at it so intently I couldn't take it. I got right up to the stage to look up in his eyes to see if it was really true that he could play like that and what was going on. And I could see in his eyes he was gone. You know, he was playing like just sheets of sound so fast, so clean, for so long that I realized it was beyond the mind. And I said to myself, whatever he's doing, I have to learn how to do that. So I was able to get backstage through a friend of mine, who's become my friend, a disciple named Apeksha. I said, Apeksha, please, I had to meet Mahavishnu. I know about your meditation life. I know about what's going on with the guru. Please take me backstage. So he said, wait here. So I went backstage area, and about 10 minutes later, Mahavishnu comes out and says, I want to talk to you. And we spoke. I said, my name is Michael Walden. I play drums. I said, whatever it is you're doing in your life, that's letting you do what I just saw on that stage. Teach me. And he said, well, it's because of my prayer life, my meditation life. I said, I know. I read on the back of your jackets, these prayers from Shishin Moy, about aspiration and about flame. Right. And he said, well, yeah. He said, I'm going to see the guru at 6 in the morning. And he said, I'll tell him I saw you. Really? and maybe you give me your phone number and I can give you a call. And sure enough, about a week later, Jon McLaughlin, I'm living way up in Massachusetts on the border of Connecticut, Massachusetts, called Canaan, Connecticut, with a band I had at the time called the New McGuire Sisters. The New McGuire Sisters. It was kind of a pun spin on the name because we were nothing like the McGuire Sisters, but we were like the new kind of rowdy, playing fusion jazz rock with Ralph Armstrong on bass, who's like 17 years old. And Jon McLaughlin called me out of the blue and said, I want you to go and meet the teacher, Teacher Moy, tonight. He said, I can't be there, but I want you to go meet him. So first of all, I was blown that he's calling me, so I brushed my hair back and tried to get myself together and rush down there, and I met the guru that night, and it changed my life. It just completely changed my life. Because when I met the guru, I was kind of frightened. He looked at me hard, kind of meditating. He says, so you are Ma Vishnu's friend? I said, yes, I am. He said, you want to become my disciple? I said, I think I'm ready. Because it was very intense, I said, I think I'm ready. And then he smiled and he said, I accept you within my heart. And he just walked away. But as he walked away, I felt like this explosion in my heart. Kind of like, what's happened? Something's happened to me. And I felt very grateful that this great Mahavishnu, Jon McLaughlin, this great musician who I admire so, and then his teacher, all within a week's time would accept me. Oh, my goodness, made me feel like, whoa. Very grateful. Very, very grateful. And then I would go back to my cabin where I lived in the woods and pick flowers and make a little shrine, put a picture of the guru, put a picture of Mahavishnu, put a picture of myself as a little child, to kind of get myself reorganized, to pray more, meditate more. And this kind of shaped my life, to kind of dedicate what I was doing to God. Yeah. That's
really inspiring.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
So what was required of you to play an instrument at such a high level?
What's required is to be a great listener. Mahavishnu would scold me sometimes, say, you don't listen. So I don't understand what he meant, because I'd have 2 stacks of monitors cranked, so I could hear his every nuance. And if you know anything about Mahavishnu Jon McLaughlin, he can play so fast and so clean, and then play like a whisper, like so I had to really be intent to listen to every little thing. That I learned, if I listened so deeply, that I could really just mirror him enough, then his body would begin to rock. And as his body would begin to rock, then he would get loose and get out there. Once he got out there, it really didn't matter so much what I played. Like, I almost stopped sometimes, because he would just be out there. And those nights he would say, you were incredible. But other nights, if he couldn't get his body to really rock, then I wasn't really doing my job. My job was to do whatever it took to get his body to rock. Once his body started rocking, it was over. So I learned these things along the way. Yeah.
Patricia and I went on YouTube and, because we were getting ready for the interview, and saw, a drum solo of you with Mahavishnu. Yeah.
Intense times. I have a hard time even watching the footage is so intense. Yeah. It's intense for me to even watch it now. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking how, in my mind, I thought you went from drumming to songwriting to producing well to author, but really you've done these things all along. You played, I didn't know that you played keyboard. And when did your career start as a songwriter?
Well, with the Mahavishnu Orchestra, the second album I'm on is called Visions of the Emerald Beyond, and there's a piece that John let me put on the album called The Cosmic Strut. This is my first song on album. And so that's when I started my company called Gratitude Sky Publishing.
Right.
And from there, the next album, the last album, Mahavishnu, I had a few pieces I composed with him and myself. And then I kept writing all the time, and then I made my own first solo album in '76 called Garden Love Light. So I'm just always blossoming in productions and writing. That's when I first started.
Yeah.
As far as being on record. And then as far as having hits in the pop world, it'd be Stacey Lattisaw with a song called Let Me Be Your Angel.
Right.
Dynamite, Jump to the Beat. Those songs,
Right.
Yeah. And then that sprang into the phone calls coming to produce Sister Sledge and Phyllis Hyman, Angela Bofield, Patty Austin, then Aretha Franklin, then Whitney Houston. That's how it sprang off, you see.
What is the key ingredients to your success, like these qualities that you bring unique to you?
I think as far as music, in the pop world, if you talk about success, you're talking about the song being the star. So if the song is the star, then you want a strong song that can stand up and have a strong chorus. So I always start with, what's my punchline? What's my chorus? What's the part that if I want the stadium to sing with us, that I can have them sing with us? So I start there. Then I'll go to verses and bridges and whatever else. But if I don't have a strong chorus, I'm not really interested.
No, that's
so if you say success, I think it's because I want that chorus to be for the people. What they can really go, we love it. You know, we can embrace that.
That's right.
So that's a part of it.
I remember that about you.
That's a part of it.
I remember I was thinking about music as medicine, and I remember going with you to San Quentin.
Oh.
It's such a distinct memory when I remember how your music united everyone. Because when we first got there, there was a black rapper, and all the black guys were into it. And then there was a white rocker, and all the white guys were into it. And then you came on, and you had dancers and horns and a full band, and united everyone. Everyone in the prison yard. You had people singing "I Love Your Smile." Okay, you're like, over here, over there. It was just to see the power of music and to see your music unite everybody in such a special way. There was no division.
Bless you, honey.
No divisions at all.
I'm glad you were there to see that, because that's one of those highlights of my life that brought the best out in all of us. First of all, when you go into San Quentin, you have to sign a piece of paper that says, if anything happens to you, the guards are no longer responsible.
Right, they don't save you.
So you got to sign that. See, so like Vernon Ice Black was very nervous to sign that.
Right.
And I'm taking dancing girls in there. That was really like over the top.
Right.
To do that.
Right.
But they signed it, and we went in, and then it was another scary moment. Also, the guns came out before we played, because the rapper's turntable broke, and there was some scurry going on, and guns came out. And it's frightened me at first. So I really wanted to let everyone know we've come in the spirit of music, and it made us really play super hard, just kind of cut the crap, just cut it like a knife, which music can do. So I'm very happy for that experience. And then Sheila E. was with us. And she played great.
That's right.
She played
and I remember you would say, Millie was dancing, Labo was dancing, and you go, how you like my girls? Everybody go, woo!
That's right.
Everybody went wild. And I remember Frank Martin said, one of the prisoners came up to him and said it's one of the best days of his life. Me
too. And then I was standing on the sideline, and a lot of the prisoners actually knew me. They would say, hey, I met you on the side of Grove Street in the city,
Right.
And sure enough, I had met them.
Wow.
I had met a lot of different people who were in there.
Yeah.
And you say, but for the grace of God, go I,
Yeah, that's right. I have a very close friend at San Quentin that I met that day.
Okay.
And when I was at Tarpon Studios, you guys okayed that he would call collect. And he would send in songs that the prisoners were singing, and they were very good.
Okay.
And he is a close friend of mine to this day, and I still visit him, go out to San Quentin.
What's his name? Can you say it?
Lonnie Morris.
That's right. I remember that name.
Yeah.
Wasn't he one of the ones that helped us go in there?
I can't remember. He was taping it that day.
Something
he was
about
on
that
the
name
film crew.
rings me a bell.
Maybe it was, but it was just it was music as medicine, and the power of your music that reaches across all genres, truly.
Well, that's the power of the funk. See, funky music, has the longevity. If you're funky and you can play the funk, you can live a long time. You can live a long time.
Well, that's that. You have joy, and then you have the hook and the funk. Oh my goodness!
You got to bring it. People want it. They want it. Why is Carlos Santana so successful around the world? Probably one of our greatest and most successful superstars everywhere. Because he understands that. He brings a lot of Africa with him. When those congas start going crazy and timbales and drums start going crazy, he knows that feeds that spirit of rhythm, which is basic and primal. Everywhere he goes.
Right.
And then he starts playing that thing on top, it's over, man.
Wow.
He knows.
Right.
He knows.
Right.
It's the power of that funk.
Wow. beat.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I'm kind of in ballad land, so really.
But ballads have the power too. Every ballad I've ever had has got the element of funk in it. The rhythm.
Right.
The rhythm makes that ballad swing, makes that ballad feel like you can lock onto it. You help me write. Tell me, what do you want me to do? Yeah.
That's right.
My love is always here for you. Whoa, tell me, what do you want me? See what I'm saying? It's all rhythm. It's rhythm based.
Oh my goodness.
There's rhythm that makes it swing. Even when I was with Barbra Streisand, Barbara's kind of floating around. I said, no, Barbara, you got to lock in this thing, I said, like you do with Bee Gees. I said, and we got nothing to be guilty of. Our love can climb any mountain here or far. See, she was like, I didn't really like that record. I said, but you know what? People like that record. So you got to learn what people like and bring your rhythm out. She said, okay.
Oh my God, that is so
So it's really important, people who want to have a long life, that they embrace the rhythm sensibility. And that's how you do it. If you look at the charts, everybody who's up there has got rhythm going on. Or they've fallen away.
Yeah.
They've fallen away.
That reminds me when I was first writing with you and you would give me a melody to write a lyric with, and I didn't really get the importance of the rhythm, so I would, like, you'd go, and I go, and you go, no, it's
That's right.
You need to stay on that rhythm.
You did that.
I did
That's
that,
why you have hits, Sally.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Soleil.
That's right.
Because you became a student of the phrasing. And that's something else we have to look to Ray Charles. Then he passed the torch to Sly Stone. Sly Stone will tell you all the hits he's written, which are genius, it's the phrasing, the way he sings it, the way he puts the thing together. It's a puzzle that's just timeless. You change that puzzle, it's not the same thing anymore. The phrasing. So you became a student of that and you mastered that. So now you can have hits as long as you want to have hits.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you for that.
As long as you can want to have them, you can have them.
That's right. You have a great mother.
Thank you, I do.
And
yes, I do.
That's right. And in Soundcheck, we were speaking of her, and you were saying how she's your greatest teacher.
My mom, my mom's a saint. My mom is my teacher, and she always taught me, to be true to myself. I mean, even things like the school bus. If I'm late for the school bus, we live way in the country, and you take you 2, 3, 4 miles to get to school, and I would say, well, I have to go to the bathroom. I said, should I run to catch the bus, or can I go to the bathroom? She says, be true to yourself. So I go to the bathroom. I go to the bathroom. You know what I mean? If you miss the bus, you miss the bus. But my mom would always say, be true to yourself. So in my life, I'd always reflect upon that. Be true to yourself. There's a lot of power in that.
Yeah.
And the 4 agreements. My mom taught me the 4 agreements. Agreement number 1 says, be impeccable with your word. Number 2 says, don't take things personally. Very hard for young Narada. What do you mean you don't like my song? What do you mean you don't like my production? What do you mean you don't like me? But see, I can't take these things personally. Number 3 says, do not assume. Ask questions, find out. Don't assume, because we're realizing more and more that people are assuming without even realizing they're assuming. And then number 4 says, always do your best. Even when you're sick, even when you don't feel well, even when you're tired, always do your best.
That is really inspiring, Narada.
Yeah, I love that. So that's it.
Well, we are almost done with segment 1. Okay. You have a great musician here today that you're working with. The flowers are going to dance again. Jon Batiste. So here we are with Jon Batiste. Yeah, Narada's going to introduce him. Brilliant artist, and he's gracing our stage today. So Narada, take it away.
We're very happy to have Jon here. He flew in from North Carolina.
Yeah.
He's been on tour with his band. He's a brilliant musician, as you said. Plays genius piano and melodica. Writes his songs. And he is the new wave of the future thinking mind. The future thinking and feeling soul. And we want to hoist him, raise him up in every way possible, because his message is important to the world. You talk about medicine, he is medicine. And I met him in Washington, D.C. We played the Library of Congress together. His song, my song, Carly Simon, Randy Newman, Jimmy Webb, and I was just really taken by Jon. So he's come out here to work with me here in San Rafael, California. We're very happy to have Jon here. So Jon, blow that thing, man. 2, 3, 4. Lovely, Jon. Lovely. Jon Batiste.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right.
The man's a killer.
Woohoo! Well, thanks for being here. So we're going to do a second interview with Narada Michael Walden, so this is it for tonight. So thank you, Jon.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody. Narada composed this collection of love lullabies for his firstborn daughter, Kelly.